Welcome back to College COD postseason. We just got done with a map 5 to kick things off, Jesse. A little bit different than what we got yesterday when we were looking at the Northeast and the Southeast. All 3-0s yesterday. We get something different here. We're looking at our other divisions. We got Texas Tech Esports and the Southwestern Oklahoma State University Bulldogs now heading it up in this matchup. That is a mouthful to say, Jesse, but we got them, and I'm ready.
Yeah, it is a mouthful, right? And that's why, we're going to probably refer to them as SWOSU for the rest of this. But, we got it in there once, right? We got it in there once. But, yeah, these two teams both looking very, very good coming into this at 9-1. I think this could be a really, really fun matchup between two teams that have looked very, very good here throughout the Open Division so far here today.
Let's introduce Texas Tech to start things off, Jesse. A veteran team when it comes down to CCL. We've seen, them here before in the postseason. Looking to make a long run now. We got Zane, Locke, Primal, and Sipe.
And we've seen Locke and Primal before. Two very good players. We know what they can do here inside a college COD, and they'll look to do it again. Very, very talented players. They know what they're doing here. And Texas Tech so far throughout the season, Colin, only one loss for these guys. I mean, they've only took one loss, and it wasn't even really a loss. It was a forfeit loss, right? They ended up giving up a victory to the team that we actually just saw on screen, University of Texas at Austin. So a very strong start to the here now in the playoffs.
It's going to be an interesting matchup. Still, the fact that Texas Tech has yet to beat a top open team. So do they have what it takes for this postseason run? And for Locke and Primal, both seniors, Jesse, this is their last chance to make that college COD run. But let's look across the board at the SWOSU Bulldogs and look at this roster for the first time for you and I on stream. Vivix, False Logic, Hush, and Beam.
And this team, like you said, really our first opportunity for the two of us to really get a good chance of looking at SWOSU. But the one thing that looking over their record is they've played a lot together this year. And we've seen a lot of the teams in the Open Division have a lot of forfeit wins or a lot of forfeit losses one way or the other. This team, though, has played almost all their matches out. They've looked very, very strong through a lot of them as well, still sitting on that 9-1 record. This is a team I'm excited to get our first look at here today.
Yeah, this is one of the top Open Division teams who, when a couple of the teams in the West did end up forfeiting going into the postseason, this team got upgraded to a Div 2 standing. So a little bit of an upgrade going into the postseason for LCQ. It's now going up against Texas Tech, Jesse. You asked them, and they said, this is just business as usual. Let's take a look at the head-to-head because, this is where the interesting part does lay. Because for Texas Tech, one thing that really catches my eye right away is the undefeated hardpoint and search and destroy.
Yeah. And that's where they're going to be the most strong at, right? Is that hard point, is that search and destroy. And luckily for them, in a best of 5, you get 2 of each, right? And I mean, even that control record at 3-1, not too shabby. But like you said, Colin, really the first chance to have a big opportunity of taking on another really good team here, because they haven't really beat anybody of too much significance yet inside of the Open Division. This is going to be a big test for them because SWOSU, no joke on the other side, 9-1 season record, 7-2 hardpoint, 5-3 search and destroy, 6-0 control. Definitely have the upper hand there from at least what the records seem to show.
I mean, there's a reason why this is the team that got upgraded to a Div 2 spot for their standing. The top of the Open Division, like you said, no joke at all. Let's look where the setting does lay for this best of 5 and keep things moving forward because I'm ready for the second match of the night, Jesse. We get Hotel Fortress banned for the hardpoint, Fortress Hotel banned for the search, and here's where we go. Embassy, Mercado, El Asilo, Mercado, Asilo. This is going to be a fun one.
And it feels like it's the opposite of our last series almost, doesn't it? Where we're going to be going towards more scrappy hardpoints where you got that Mercado hardpoint, which, yes, I feel like Mercado can, again, be one of those hills where we saw where you're going to be constantly setting up and just doing what you need to do. But those first 2 maps, Mercado S&D, is so scrappy. That is just stun and nade heaven, everybody running at each other, either through middle of the map or over towards Cantina. And then Embassy hardpoint, we know it. We love it. It is just a bloodbath. From hill 1 to hill number 5, you very rarely have big opportunities to get big chunks of time on this map, maybe outside of hills 2 and hills 3, which if you lock down the right spawns, you can definitely do it, but it's not an easy time, and Embassy's going to be a fun one to start us off.
I mean, I think it's like Proper said one time. I think it was Proper. I could be mistaken. Mercado is basically one big Michael Bay film whenever you're going to the A side, so that's going to be fun when we do go over there. But yeah, his Embassy hardpoint is something where I'd say you're looking at almost a mirror of what we got from Signs and Itchy in our Mercado hardpoint from our last series, Jesse. This is something where you look at your submachine guns to really take control. You look at them to really command the pace of the game. And you hope that they can give way to the ARs to have solid rotational setups, because Embassy is not an easy map to rotate on, and your ARs really need to have your subs doing the dirty work so that they can maneuver through this map.
I feel like it's both, though, hand in hand, right? Because, like, I mean, yes, you're absolutely correct, where your subs need to be absolutely frying in the front line to give you an open opportunity for your ARs on the back line, but also your ARs on this map are very, very important in terms of locking down long lanes of sight. Especially when you're thinking of like outside of parking, you need to make sure that you've got an AR posted on that either back truck, on the back heady, just watching down the long lane coming in from laundry and from kitchen from that P5 hill, and just shutting down those players so that you can keep a good strong presence inside of the hill with your SMG. So as much as I agree with you with the submachine guns and that needing to be a factor, I think it just needs to be a full team effort here inside of this map if you're going to lock down good solid chunks of time.
Well, I mean, it is postseason, Jesse. You're going to need everybody firing on all cylinders if you want to take these runs. And it's like you said, I mean, last series, I'm glad it went to a Game 5. But again, I feel like I need to hit on this point and say that this is not the end of the road for these teams. This is just the beginning of a very long, winding road of Call of Duty that you're going to have to play through College COD. And for this to be the beginning, you don't want it to be going to a Game 5. You really don't want it to go to a Game 4 either. So if you're SWOSU or if you're Texas Tech going into today, you're looking for the 3-0. And if you can get that 3-0 under your belt to open up your postseason, that is probably the strongest start you can have when you have to go up against those Div 2 teams coming up and next for either one of these. And on top of that, Jesse, this is very similar to our first game of the night, where this is a one-and-done match, too. The group is only going to be Texas Tech and SWOSU, so winner of this moves forward. Loser goes home.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where it can get really scary, right? I mean, if you go down 2-0 really early in this game, it could be a really, really tough time to try to make your way back into it as well here. So we'll have to see what either of these two teams can do. I think that it's going to be a good one. I think that SWOSU have a very good chance of coming out here and being very strong, especially inside of the control once we get there. But I mean, if you are looking at the hard point and the S&D, I mean, the 6-0 and the 4-0 record from Texas Tech is got to be a scary point when you're SWOSU. And I think that when you're looking at these first two maps, I know you've got that backbone of the control, but you really want to make sure you at least lock down either map 1 or map 2 here.
Well, it looks like we're trying to get these players lobbied up. We're having a little bit of technical issues in that. But we're going to toss it over to Andy with the After Action Report. We'll see you in a bit with map number 1.
Action Report.
And welcome back to the game. We got map number 1 underway. Texas Tech on the left and the Bulldogs on the right. We're hopping on board with Locke to start things off, Jesse. And he is going to find 2 to open things up. But SWOSU quick to answer back.
A really good start to the map there from SWOSU. Just get inside of this P1. You need to try to lock down as much time as you can here while also trying to get those spawns over for New. And yeah, this has been a great start. They've got the middle of the map completely cleared off. Makes it very tough to be able to push their way through. Texas Tech will finally break them out of that and get in for a small bit of time here, but it's locked. The rest of the Texas Tech players, now everybody going over towards the embassy building, over towards PD, and trying to get set up here for the new hill. It's really just player 6 that might be able to be a little bit of a nuisance towards this setup.
Player 6 and player 7 soon to follow that. He's going to be on the flank. Not sure if player's going to recognize this just yet, but a little bit of attention over towards Bean. Hush goes down to the front line. Players still struggling to find kills. Bean's going to strike. Vivix though catches him with the nade. Bean now almost gets a second one. It's Vivix to really do a dent into the setup, and False Logic gets the last one, so good break there from the Bulldogs.
They only give up a few seconds of time, too, in terms of setting up that break and being able to get in to now lock down a good chunk of time here. But from the front of the hill, Texas Tech put on some pressure. They're going to push up towards Xbox, towards parking, and they're going to be able to break in through this hill from the front. The much harder way to break that hill, I will add, and they do it with a fairly easy look.
Break back in. Texas Tech, scrap time that they definitely are hoping to grab. Heading over to P3, though. Scythe going to be the first to fall. Luck. They're going to bide their time, wait for the rest of the reinforcements to set up, and They can work together to get some chiming on this one. Player through the middle of the map. False Logic is actually going to get caught. Primal wins that one out. Lock going to double down, and suddenly a little bit of pressure on the two players remaining on the inside. Primal gets the first. Primal gets two, and a force spree to break her.
The end as well, when you've got all four players still alive, makes it very, very tough for that one last player sitting up top orange to be able to hold on to anything, and they'll end up falling. Top AC now goes the way of Texas Tech. They are locking things down. Very tough to break back into this hill once you get spawned out like this, and you are seeing why. If you're SWOSU at this point, you might just be coming off spawn and chalking it, and that looks like exactly what the call is. 23 seconds going the way of Texas Tech while everybody left on SWOSU now rotating over towards New, but still getting dropped by a perfect Texas Tech rotation.
Yeah, the Mass Raiders, a little bit of highway robbery over towards P3, and outside. We're going to continue that pressure over towards 4 or 5 in a row. Safe with attack. Fast Nev. Snaps over to False Logic, but the Shriek's going to be shut down. Zane now working alongside the rest of the team. 3 different avenues for this team to take the fight. And Vivek's going to be the first to fall. Trophy system's going to be eliminated in for the contention, but Primal not able to get anything done. Nice 3 kills going to be pieced together for SWOSU. And Locke, the only remaining player, 2 HP, just has to wait for the remainder.
And after an early break on P3, this is a good hold here for SWOSU so far. First 20 seconds going their way, but now the flood from the front of the hill here for Texas Tech. Everybody trying to make their way in. They'll get 3 in a row and now force the spawn out here for SWOSU with 30 seconds left on the hill. And this is where SWOSU has to make a tough decision. Do you make another push towards this hill, or do you go and you just fully set up for next?
And job's not done until Hush and False Logic are taken care of, but it looks like the Bulldogs, they want to take another shot. Maybe no Primal, who in the midst of all this action has gained a cruise missile. Out looking for a little bit of exit kills. Vivek's going to be caught blindsided. Sight traded. Primal just working their magic, seeing if they can find some timing here. Jesse with the rotation over towards P5. Bulldogs going to be the first one here. Nobody collecting time. And Primal gets some good timing to the back line. 4 in a row for him. Now looking for number 5. Nobody watching the back door. And Primal finally shut down there from False Logic.
And unfortunately not able to push their way forward, so it's really just going to be Sipe, the only player really close to this. False Logic, unfortunately, will end up falling inside of the hill, as actually Zane was right there to make a play with Sipe. I didn't see them on the mini-map, but they knew they were there, and they take full advantage of the 2v1 on site, and again, calling another early break from Texas Tech.
Another early break. Lock just looking for the remainder of time. 1 versus 1 here from Zane, and Zane's going to win it out, so back to the hill for Texas Tech. As Bulldogs, who had a great start to this game, Jesse, is starting to fall behind.
They are. It's going to be about a 50-point game, almost a 60-point game, actually, at the end of this first set of rotations here. But you're by no means out of this yet here if you're SWOSU. 60 points, that's just 1 hard point hill. You can definitely start to bring this one back, but you need to find an answer for the strong domination performance right now from Locke on the side of Texas Tech. 21-8 to start this game.
Disgusting. It's numbers that, you and I expect after watching him play for years in the CCL. Means not going to actually spot out the player going top paper, and Sipe is going to find 2 in a row. Piece together a couple of kills for the break, and Texas Tech only give up a little bit of time before hitting into this P1 setup. The spawns for SWOSU over towards status score. They're going to have to go a long way to rotate over towards P2. A couple players going to be there for Texas Tech to see if they can shut this one down. The backline Lock, can he get the job done? Well, he can. He's going to find both kills.
Great job again from Locke. I mean, this AR player is absolutely taking over the game right now. You got full streaks, you're 23-9, and you're locking down the entire back line. They haven't expected the back push yet, but as soon as they do, Locke's going to be fully set up with this AR in the back. Doesn't even need to do all the damage, though, just takes a couple pop shots, and as soon as they realize, hey, you know what, we cleared out the back, guess where they're going to spawn? They're going to spawn front, and Locke now pushing himself into a position to shut that down.
Heads up play from Vivek, although teammate and False Logic gonna delay some of this pressure. And another shutdown. SWOSU spotting up over towards P4, so they have to be worried not to give up this rotation over to P3 for free. A couple players gonna be in an interaction. Number 2, Sipe, already working this rotation, Jesse, over towards top AC. With this remainder of time going towards Texas Tech, is just pushing them closer and closer to a win.
Let's not forget, Texas Tech on the first set of rotations did find a break into this top AC hill very, very quickly here. But it looks like we're going to get a little bit stronger of a hold from SWOSU this time through. They'll find the first few kills. They actually spot out Sipe as well. Vivek's going to play this a little bit unconfidently here, though, as they continue to back down. They don't want to put too much pressure over towards this top AC area. They don't want to allow them to really pick them off of this head glitch here. But, I mean, at some point, you do got to take these gunfights and shut them down. Otherwise, you're just going to be a sit and duck.
Here they come, Viveks, he gets all three. Still holding on to this are the Bulldogs, but here comes the rest of the players. Zane drops as well. 4 for Viveks. Can he get number 5? No, finally shut down. It's locked, but it's enough time for the rest of your players to come off the respawn, and they get right back into the hill, Jesse. Sipe looking to give it up.
Yeah, great job by Viveks there, right? I mean, even though you don't lock down all that time there and you do get broken for a small period of time, just staying alive long enough to get the rest of the reinforcements to come off spawn and to be able to help out in that piss situation. But unfortunately, you lose out on the scrap time here. It's going to be a 1v1 for the remainder of it. Viveks, again, wins a massive one. We'll get those last 10 seconds, but look across the map. Again, first team inside the hill will be SWOSU, but surrounding like a pack of dogs. The Texas Tech looking to attack.
Primal on the flank, no eyes. Oh, and almost gets the last, but it's going to be locked to back him up. So the break again on rotation. Texas Tech just being so annoying, and if you're Southwestern Oklahoma State right now, you just have to be so frustrated, Jesse, and is not able to get a confident setup time after time throughout this one. Looking for the break as Sipe hunts you down. Sipe's going to go 1-for-1, delaying this ever so longer. Zane watching down the lane. He's going to get overwhelmed. The break in for SWOSU, but for how long?
It's a great question. 27 seconds left on the hill. You can still win it here technically if you're Texas Tech, but also at the same time, you might just want to say screw it and push over towards New and get a full setup for New. But no, they'll hit Old. They break in with just enough time and call, and they have to tick. So SWOSU needs to push Old.
9 seconds left. Somebody's got to go. Somebody's got to get there fast. Luck and Zane both finding the kills necessary to shut this one down. And SWOSU fumble the bag. Map number 1, Texas Tech, they run away with it. 250 to 151. Breaking hardpoint after hardpoint, finding kill after kill, and working their magic all across the hardpoint.
Yeah, it just kind of felt like SWOSU just never had a comfortable hold on that hill or on that map. It never felt like there was any point in time where they were in a situation where I was like, this is about to be a full 60 for this team. They look strong, really strong right here. Maybe outside of P2 where they looked like they had a very good hold, but Colin, it was just relentless pressure from Texas Tech on the hills over and over again. And the thing with Texas Tech and the way they were breaking a lot of these hills was it wasn't just a one-sided attack. It was like a 4-prong attack from different sides constantly. Just the amount of teamwork I saw in the team shots from different angles to really shut down the SWOSU players is what just destroyed them inside of that map number 1.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen these players on Texas Tech in the past, Jesse. I mean, we know the skill and the presence that they have on the map. Genuinely, I'm surprised that they're in the open division with, you know, just how much success we've seen Luck and Primal find in previous seasons. But here they are. They go 9-1. Only loss was to UTA, and it was a forfeit loss. So it hasn't been, you know, the best season for you. But looking at that Embassy hardpoint, I mean, this team still looks like they got it. I mean, Primal and Luck both at times were just finding so many multi-kills. And Primal even at times was just going rogue on rotations, doing anything necessary to thwart SWOSU's plans.
Yeah, they really were. They were definitely doing whatever they needed to. Locke, I mean, had a very good game. 24-12 at this point in the game. I'm not exactly sure where they finished, but I would imagine it was in the double positive area come the end of that one. And then also Sipe as well. I mean, we were talking about how good Primal is. I've never really seen this Sipe player before. Correct me if I put my apologies in my ignorance if Sipe played last year, but I don't recall myself. And I mean, Sipe with a very strong map number 1 here, 30-17, to almost match Locke at 30-15. I mean, very strong performance out of those two players. And then when you look across the board at 9-25 and 7-29 from Beans and Hush, it needs to be better than that inside a map from this point on.
7, Jesse. Hush, you gotta see a little bit more from the supporting cast of SWOSU if you're gonna take down Texas Tech. especially when your playoffs are on the line right now. I mean, this is it for a lot of these players looking to qualify for the postseason of College Cotton. I mean, performance like that just so tough. And not only that, I mean, that last hill, they had the rotation, they got the break, but they got to brush up on their math, I guess, Jesse, because they rotated a little bit too early, and Texas Tech were able to break in almost for free to finish that out.
To be fair, I don't think that they did that on purpose. I think that was just another Texas Tech break. If I'm being honest myself, I don't think that they meant to go up the last 15 seconds and the loss there at the end of that game. At least I don't think so. You know, that wouldn't be a recipe to success in my book. But they absolutely do lose the map nonetheless. Now we go towards Mercado, Search and Destroy. You can see the rest of our best of 5 afterwards if we go the full distance. But Mercado, Search and Destroy, after that map 1 and the way that I saw team shots coming in from this Texas Tech team, I am scared for SWOSU, Colin, because this is another map where you need to be having your teamwork on full effect if you want to be able to come out. Multiple lanes can be watched at once by multiple players, but you need to make sure that everybody's on the same page. It did not feel like that in map 1 for SWOSU, but Texas Tech, on the other hand, they looked locked in that map number 1.
Yeah, you just gotta forget about that hard point map right now if you're SWOSU. You think about even our last match, Jesse, wasn't as low. It was a 2-3-5 to finish it out. I mean, game's not done, match isn't over. If you're SWOSU going into the Search and Destroy, you're 5-3. Another thing, you know, that you can look at to hopefully buff your chances going into this map number 2. Although Texas Tech on the other board 4-0, so they're undefeated on this one. It's not going to be easy, but after what we saw in that hard point, we can genuinely assume that this whole series won't be easy for the Bulldogs. And beating out Texas Tech today could be the start for SWOSU making a strong run in the postseason, but at the same time, I don't think the Mass Raiders want to go down easy.
No, and I mean, we've been talking about this point all day long, and when you come into the LCQ, you want strong, dominant victories in the LCQ just to kind of propel yourself into the rest of the playoffs, because this playoff run, it only gets harder and harder, Colin, the more that we talk about it. It just, you go from open division, you go to Div 2 teams, you go to Div 1 teams, then you go to top 25 teams. It is only going to get more difficult. You need strong, dominating performances to give yourselves that strong start and to propel yourselves into a good spot in the playoffs. And so far, that was the perfect start for Texas Tech.
Zane's gonna have to jump up, but that's not where the action is. Primal straight through A. They run through SWOSU, and before you know it, Hush, 1 versus 4. They're going for the knife. Don't do it to him. Don't do it to him. Texas Tech, that is just dirty.
That was not the start you wanted for SWOSU. I would just like to say that. But no, that was about probably the opposite of what you would want inside of that round number 1 there. Everybody falls. A very, very strong opening round from Texas Tech. A very aggressive offense as well. Usually you see on that first round a lot of players kind of waiting for that deadie, trying to get it for the next round. This time, though, Texas Tech just say, we are running straight towards you. We are just going to shove our guns and just go full force here for it, and they walk away with a very strong round number 1 there. But no, a team kill. Oh, the knife glitch. No.
Oh, that is just pain with a capital P. He's gonna get 2 though, so hey, he says, I took down a teammate, let me at least step up for the team when they really need me. False Logic has snuck through, and Primal's not gonna have the read on that, so even off of a team knife onto Hush, Zane gonna be found in a 1 versus 2 sniper and a pistol. Not sure if Vivix saw the glint, but the stretch on the bomb plant, and Zane's gonna have no idea it's gonna get planted. So 2 versus 2, 2 versus 1 for the retake. Zane gonna have to get through this tunnel first.
Your best opportunity here if you're Zane is to try to pull the sniper out, pick the player off top, but actually gonna do it with a pistol in hand instead. We'll get onto the bomb.
Wait, no way.
I'm gonna check this.
No way.
No way they don't check this. No way you don't check this. They didn't see him on the cross, and Zane gets the bomb defused. Oh my god, Texas Tech are just running SWOSU's pockets right now.
You can't let that happen, Jesse. You can't let that happen.
That's 2 ninja defuses tonight, Colin.
2 versus 1. A team knife. The round basically in the bag for you if you're the Bulldogs. And Zane, man, he's 0 and 0 with a ninja defuse.
And right back to holding middle map and a very aggressive offense here once again from the likes of Texas Tech. But at some point, though, you could end up running into trouble playing as aggressive as you are, and that's exactly what happens. False Logic will find the first two, and you're leaving Locke and Zane in a very tough spot here. 1v4 now for Locke.
Now, Locke just gonna get pressured out. SWOSU finally stopped the bleeding, and they say, okay, first round, our fault. You know, we weren't ready for the aggression. Second fault, also our fault. We didn't check the bomb. But the third round, we're cooking.
Well, it helps when they don't have to check the bomb, right? So
yes.
They walk away with the round victory there inside of that round number 3. They were completely ready for the aggression that round, though, and that's something that Texas Tech are going to need to be careful with the later that this series goes. You can't just keep running at them because it's going to lead to a very difficult time if you just keep running at them. They will eventually sit back. They will eventually pre-aim with irons, and they will shut you down. It will be a not-so-nice time for your team here, and more aggression coming out from an offense. False Logic, I would imagine they've seen that player in the back, and 2 kills through the middle of the map. This is very fast for SWOSU again.
Yeah, 3 quick kills. Locke again in a 1 versus 4 bomb. Gonna get interrupted. He's gonna strike first on False Logic. Bomb's planted as they just stick it out. Now Locke with that silence popped. A lot of individual gunfights could be had, Jesse, so I see a world where this is very possible. Jumps right out, nobody there to trade. 2 versus 1, Locke still funding kills. Hold on, hold my adult beverage and let's watch this really closely. Locke for the 1v4, 1 versus 1 over the other side. Enemy quaking in their shoes, no idea, and Locke aces with the clutch.
I have no words. Vivix, what are we doing in that round? I don't know why we're wrapping off the bomb site there when you know the player's inside a canteen. They get 2 of your teammates already from inside a canteen. They're still there. They never left. This is just as bad as it could be for SWOSU right now. I mean, you got blown out round number 1. And then a ninja defuse and a 1v4. They should be up 3-1 right now, Colin.
SWOSU, right?
Yes, SWOSU. SWOSU should be up 3-1 right now in this game. Instead, it's Texas Tech up 3-1, back on offense. We'll have to see what they decide to do this time because it's been all aggression on offense for them so far. Worked out once, didn't work out the second time, but Zane goes through tunnel and finds first blood this time. This could be a bad round again for SWOSU here.
From the top ropes, it's going to be Zane for 2. Looking for number 3, and he's going to get it. Zane doing the heavy lifting right now from 0-0 to 3-2. From 0-0 right now to hero. Zane now for the ace. He's going to get it done. And SWOSU just cannot hang with Texas Tech at the moment.
Well, at least now it should be a 3-2, right? So at least there's that. But yeah.
Wait.
He knifed his own teammate. Oh, this game is comedy. This game is absolutely comedy right now. I can't believe what we're watching, Colin. A ninja defuse and a 1v4 in back-to-back rounds leaves Texas Tech up 4-1 here, back on defense, and their defenses have been anything but conventional so far, but they've made them work.
I mean, they're 4-1, and Sype and Primal are both 2-3, Jesse. I mean, it's not like this has been an easy game for Texas Tech, but at the same time, it's just Bulldogs just making mistake after mistake. Locke's gonna climb through the window right into the hands of Vivix. 3 versus 2, an advantage to Texas Tech, because I don't know what Zane is doing. A couple 360s, a couple of jumps, and he's out of harm's way. Vivix now needs to go into the deep end, and he will. Right out the window. Can't finish the first, but somehow gets both.
I think maybe you had a little bit of help there if you're Vivix on that last one, but yeah, you'll get 2. Leaving Zane in a 1v2, but honestly, I'm not counting any of these Texas Tech players out of it right now in these situations. Bomb going to start to go down. Zane's actually in a really good spot here to stop that bomb plant from going down. Unfortunately, won't stop it, but does not see the player cross right. Will spot the player out now. Just hop it, please.
Just run at him. Just run at him. Just run at him. Both players need to work together and jump at this bomb. Zane not going to hop it just yet. Knows he has time to work with. Vivix going to check it. Sees he's not there. From up top, False Logic still doesn't want to go for it. Vivix going to check again. 22 seconds. I don't know what Bulldogs are going to do, but it seems like they don't want to tango with Zane. 16 seconds left. Finally, False Logic is going to peek him. And SWOSU get another round.
I know that was well played in terms of where they're sitting back. They're not giving anything to them. But it just kind of felt like they were scared to challenge Zane. with the way that they threw away a few of those rounds, it just felt like they were like, okay, we need to just get this one in the bag so we can start to work our way forward a little bit here, because it has not been clean through this search and destroy so far for SWOSU. In all honesty, Colin, they could be on map point right now, but unfortunately they find themselves down 4-2. But the good thing about that is if you start to limit those mistakes, maybe we could start to talk about a little bit of a comeback now. As Zane watches over middle of the map, you can see Bomb very slowly working its way over towards A. But SWOSU has very much so dominated this bomb site in the last few rounds.
Fifis is not having a bad game, 6-3. Gonna get traded out by Locke. Just needs a little bit of help in the midst of it. False Logic gonna get caught in the open. Locke gets 2. Numbers advantage now over there. Stun kill. Projectile hits on the Sipe. Zane on the flank. Both players right next to him. Zane gonna jump over the next one. Where is the trade? Hush finally gonna get it. 1 versus 1. Locke looking for 3 in the round to get this one done. And Hush is gonna wait it out. Locke's gonna stick the plant.
So is Hush running a sniper if they're holding the pistol out like that? I would imagine so. Locke gonna back away here with the submachine gun in hand. I think Locke's gonna try to do a full wrap through middle map.
Don't mind this play at all, Hush. Unaware.
Gotta go quick though.
At all. He's gonna hump the defuse. Locke should get there in time, but he's taking his sweet time, and Hush makes the right call. All right, here we go. We got a game.
SWOSU. They say, hey, you know what? You ninja defused us. We ninja defuse you back. 4-3. They're bringing this one back here, Colin. This has been one of the most crazy Mercado search and destroys I've watched this year, and I've watched a lot of Mercado S&D this year. And these two teams are making a lot of little mistakes, and it is making a very entertaining search and destroy right now between the two of them. This time on offense, SWOSU once again going to get aggressive over towards A, and I think Hush may have just spotted out that player middle of the map as well.
Look, here's my analysis, Jesse, of this Mercado search. I don't know what's happening.
Spot it out.
Zane's going to get the kill on the flank. Zane's going to get 2. Zane's just exposing them right now for the missed timing that they get. Hush in a 1 versus 2, looking to clutch up again. You just got this one done, but now you have to recover the bomb and get both kills. Sipe and Primal playing side by side. All 3 kills were over towards this A site, so they have to know that this bomb needs to get recovered. 45 seconds to play for Primal. Just waiting for Hush to show themselves through the window. He's going to see it, the stun out, and Primal's going to get the kill.
I thought Hush saw that player through middle of the map. I didn't even think about that barber route, or that barber route. Who was it? It was Zane that went on the barber route there and found almost 3 kills in the back. But nonetheless, it still left a Hush in a 1 versus 2 at the end of that round there, and a very tough spot to be in. And now you're on map point. If you're Texas Tech, you just need to close this one out. If you're SWOSU, you are wondering what could have been inside of this search and destroy, and you need to play flawless from this point on.
Look, Jesse, I don't know what happened in the search and destroy. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm having fun. SWOSU, first blood, False Logic. Vivek's going to be traded out. False Logic looking for a little bit more, but he's going to get jumped on by Sipe. Numbers advantage over to Texas Tech. Now it's going to be all up to Bean. 3 and 7. Going to have to go 6 and 7 to keep his team alive. And it's the timing onto at least 1. Here's a lot of footsteps, but the Sun's going to give it away. The collapse should be here. All 3 players just running at him, but Bean's getting the kills necessary to keep this one going. And he escapes. The fast step's going to get picked up. Still on the hunt. Things turning around, and Beans gets the clutch up. 1v3.
I really don't like that. I really don't like that, Texas Tech. That's just, I feel like you haven't played well enough in this game to get that cocky and to try to run at him in a 1v3 like that with knives. And I think that's just honestly what you deserve at that point there inside of that round, if you're asking me. And honestly, I hope SWOSU finds a way to come back and wins this game here. They're not up by that much, Colin, where you have rounds to throw away at the moment if you're Texas Tech. 5-3 curse, absolutely a thing. Texas Tech, if you let SWOSU win this round here, you could be in for a very, very rough round 11 and a very rough game number 2 here. We'll see what Texas Tech can do. They'll heavily stack A, but again, the push from SWOSU going to be heading over here. And first blood to False Logic.
Just a little bit of poor sportsmanship, and look what SWOSU do. 4 versus 2. I mean, we've seen this blow up before, but have they learned their lesson? Locke, the sniper, A lot of information on these players, and the kill's going to be there on a Hush. Nobody going to follow through with this one. Locke's able to get out. The 2 versus 3. No way they gave up another one here, too.
They completely give up bomb site. So bomb will go down in a stretch position here again for Vivix. And I mean, we've seen them hold this site a few times in a strong way here. Now they've got numbers to hold the site as well. Stun comes through, doesn't matter. Vivix will win the chow. And now it's all Lock, 1 versus 3. And now we go to round 11 after what should have been a sure round victory in the last one. This game is just, it's everything, Colin, that we want it to be and more. And hopefully SWOSU wins this last round. I really hope so. I know we're not supposed to be biased right now, but the knives in that last round, I hope SWOSU wins this.
I mean, they should have won this before a couple of rounds. I'm right there with you. I mean, poor sportsmanship. We don't like to see it, but hey, here we are. Round 11. I don't know what's happened in the Search and Destroy. I don't know what's going to happen, Jesse, but I know it's going to be eventful in this round 11. We're in for a treat, and we're headed to B. Something that hasn't happened. Hush, the only line of defense, has to stay alive. I like this call just to get out of dodge. Looking to maybe get some eyes back in, but instead Primal just runs it down. Primal now in enemy lines on the flank. No clue where he is. Beans goes down as well.
You do trade out 1, though, so it's still only a 1-man advantage here for Texas Tech, but still a 1-man advantage on this bomb site. Very tough to break into this bomb site here. And Vivix is going to go through dark. This is going to be a tough push in. Won't actually even find anything on the initial push. They've got every line covered right now if you're Texas Tech.
Luckily, your best performing players are still alive, but you lose out on Vivix. Everything's going to be up to false logic, and he just misses the jump. Texas Tech Esports. It goes the distance. It was very messy, but a win's a win. In the end of the day, and you go up 2-0.
And I know what I said, and I still hoped that SWOSU won that just off that poor sportsmanship alone, but it is what it is, right? And at the end of the day, Texas Tech, I do believe they deserve to win that map. I know that SWOSU made a lot of mistakes early in the map, but Texas Tech did look like the better team in that map mode conversation. But hey, I'm just going to vote for who I want to vote for, Colin. At that point, I didn't like the knife play. I understand it. I know we're trying to be toxic and we're trying to have some fun at the same time, but it almost cost them. It did almost cost them at the end of the day.
Okay, so just if I remember correctly, Jesse, we got a team knife. We got a ninja defuse 1v2. We got a ninja defuse 1v1. We got a 1v4 ace. We got
1v3 because 3 players were running at you with knives.
Yeah, 1v3 because of the knives, yes, and a round 11. I mean, what just happened?
And yet somehow, after all that, we have a 2-0 lead for Texas Tech Esports.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the score above, if you're just joining in, you see 2-0, go watch back that Search and Destroy, because I don't know what just happened. I'm sure when we see these highlights and what we got from that Search and Destroy, it's going to be nothing but fun. I can only imagine how much fun production is having watching this too, because what was that? Look at this. Round 1 knife too. I forgot about this one.
They did it a few times. I mean, they're knifing each other here if you're SWOSU in that round. Then you put yourself in a 1v2 where you're like, oh yeah, we've got this, but you don't see Zane cross onto the bomb. Zane then gets the ninja defuse.
Like, this is passive play from Zane. He gets the ninja defuse, and he's 0-0. He hasn't done anything at that point other than defuse the bomb.
Oh, and here's the lock 1v4 where just... I still can't believe Vivix rotated off the bomb site there. Was trying to position themselves in a better spot, but just completely put their back to where the only player on the map was on the opposing team. Here's Zane just getting completely aggressive through middle of the map. Another knife killed another round here for Texas Tech. It finally came back to bite them, though, and I'm sure we'll see that at some point here throughout this map. But, Colin, this was a map of Search and Destroy.
Not to mention, that was a Zane ace, too, with the knife, so... to tally on the things that happen in the Search and Destroy. Bulldogs, when they looked good, though, they looked like a team that can compete in Search and Destroys. It's just, putting it together in every single round was the trouble for them. I feel like Texas Tech, sometimes they were being a little silly goofy on the map, and that was allowing SWOSU to kind of wake up and show what they're made of, but at other times you did see Vivix and False Logic put up a fight, and it's, you know, that's been one consistent throughout this best of 5 so far. That has been true for the Bulldogs, is when you look at the scoreboard, you expect Vivix and False Logic to put up a fight. The big question is what you get out of Hush and Bean, because I feel like when you are talking about what Bulldogs are lacking throughout this series, Jesse, it is the supporting players when it comes down to, you know, the mix of things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really what it comes down to. Vivix and False Logic have been very, very strong through these opening maps. Bean and Hush have been kind of the players who have been sitting back. And I mean, you know what? You do get a little bit stronger of a performance there out of SWOSU and out of those two in that map, and that's why that map was a lot closer. So I think if you're looking at any two players that you need to step up, it's Hush, it's Bean. It's going into this game number 3. They need to play to the level of the Texas Tech players. If they don't, it's going to be a 3-0 victory.
I mean, hey, with all that we got in that Mercado Search and Destroy, Jesse, a reverse sweep, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised after what we just watched the Mercado S&D. Anything can happen right now, folks. We're going to set up for this control. We'll see you on the other side with some more CCL postseason. Welcome back to the College COD postseason, everybody. We're in with a matchup between Texas Tech Esports and SWOSU Bulldogs after 2 maps. Texas Tech lay 2-0, Jesse, but if we look back at, you know, the series that we got, the maps that we had, and you watch that Search and Destroy, I mean, this could be a 1-1 game. This 2-0 doesn't tell a story.
It doesn't tell the story of the Search and Destroy. What we can say, though, is that first map very much so dominated by Texas Tech in the respawn. So it's going to be a little bit of a tough time, I think, for SWOSU in the next 2 maps. Both are respawns. Both are must-win maps now, being down 2-0 in the series. After that map 1, I know it says 251-51. It felt like Texas Tech controlled the pace of play throughout that entire map number 1. That Mercado S&D, I don't want to talk about it again. It was just craziness. It was insane, back and forth between both teams. At the end of the day, though, we got a 2-0 lead, and we're heading to an El Asilo control for map number 3 here. And honestly, with the way that this map can play out sometime, and the way that slaying is such a big factor of this map, and the way that you can get spawn trapped, I'm very worried for SWOSU at the moment, because it just feels like they've got 2 players on their team right now, in Hush and in Bean, that have just not been able to fully step up to the plate against the Texas Tech players. And if you are going to come back in the series, it's those 2 players that need to make the biggest step forward.
Well, there's some consistency that you can look at. It's going to be False Logic and Vivix to continue to press on for the squad. But Locke's going to make his way up towards top patio, and he gets the better of Hush as well. This is the spawn trap that you were talking about, but Locke, he doesn't want to go anything farther than that. He's going to double back towards B. Still hold this top control for now. The kills keep coming for Texas Tech Esports, Jesse, and SWOSU have really yet to do any damage to this team. 29 lives still for the Masked Raiders.
Yeah, and this is exactly the spawn trap that I was kind of hitting on before. You can see Sipe will find one in middle, and now everybody on SWOSU is just going to continue to spawn up in the back left here, because you are blocking that spawn out over at B. This is going to be the A zone and the B zone both getting secured at the same time. B has only had 1 player on it this whole time, and you have Locke continuing to pick these players off one after another. This spawn trap is so hard to break once you get put into it, and Colin, this is why I was worried when I saw this map come up.
Well, that's a round.
Might be the fastest offense I've seen on El Asilo this year.
You know, that is a round of El Asilo control, for sure. It's just a round I was not expecting. I don't think I've ever seen a dominant round like that in this map, ever, since this series, or since this
Zane
this
didn't
game
even
came
get a
out.
kill. Zane didn't even get a kill in the round.
Yeah, I mean, he went 2 rounds of Search and Destroy without getting a kill, even Ninja defusing a bomb, and he didn't have to do anything that last round.
Now you got players on Texas Tech, all with either right around or looking for streaks here. Sipe is still on 6, but already has the streak in hand. Unfortunately, won't be able to find that player sneaking through top of their side, but False Logic will end up falling nonetheless. And oh no, this is where it get really scary again. You do get a couple players to spawn up towards the bottom side of the map, but you are just surrounded by Texas Tech Esports players right now.
He's going to have to be the one to open things up. Unfortunately, no. Flock, 5 in a row. Shuts that down. 11-0 for himself, too. Looking for streaks. Rich is going to be there, so he's going to double up. I mean, luckily to not do that, False Logic will shut that down. But now it's Primal's turn on the flank. 1 by 1. They're taking turns at this point. Primal shutting down the players off respawn. Couple over towards this back green. Primal's going to find the first one. Snaps the second. Has to reload, so in a little bit of a pickle. False Logic trades it out. Couple kills for SWOSU, but is it going to be enough to get onto one of these zones for a moment? It is, but Locke says just that second for you, and go back to the drawing board, heading over to B as Hush.
20 seconds left. Might be able to hop on this, stop the clock for a small period of time, but you are still, like we've been saying throughout this entire game, just surrounded by Texas Tech players. You'll find one. Unfortunately, can't find any more than that. Zane still only has 1 kill inside of the game here so far for Texas Tech, but it does not matter. 22-10 in lives. 10 seconds left to try to get onto one of these 2 points. Hush is the only player really pushed forward at the moment, waiting for reinforcements before they attempt to hop onto this one more time here. But with 3 seconds left, you got to go now.
They're going to hop in for a moment. Team kill from Hush. A little bit of progress towards A. False Logic finally piecing together a couple of kills for the team, but might be a little too late. False Logic continuing to press on. First take going to be cemented in. Working on the second now is the stack. Going to be there for SWOSU. The setup on the inside. Third take maybe. Are they going to do it? Will they get the point, Jesse? We finally get a cap.
They do. This is where it gets tough, though. 5 lives to 18 on the other side of things. So, I mean, it needs to be absolutely flawless if you want any opportunity at breaking this. You basically need to find a 4 dead and push into the hill, get a spawn trap engaged, and get another 4 dead. Almost impossible here at this point. Sipe will find a few through middle of the map as well. Only 2 lives left remaining now for SWOSU.
It's just time to go hunting right now if you're Texas Tech and finish things up. You lose out on that A zone. You know, it is A-okay. Vivix gonna box down Sypex. Or Sypex. Sype. 24 seconds left. The SWOSU Bulldogs. Now with Sype gonna come off the respawn. Zane gonna go 1 for 1. Sype does go down. False Logic just being a little bit of a nuisance in this round. Just continuing to pick off players, pat those stats, and head into the next round with a new leaf turn.
Yeah, really just try to do anything that you can at this point here if you're False Logic. Hey, you'll get another one on the board. So that's, what, 3 in a row to head in towards our next round here. But 2-0, Texas Tech dominated on their first offense as well. And I mean dominated. Probably the fastest LSC low control offensive win I've seen this year. If you're SWOSU and you're coming into this defense here, Colin, I think that you just need to just kind of sit tight on your initial push off here. You don't want to get too aggressive and maybe try to take advantage of the aggression from the Texas Tech players. I think that's probably your only shot, but you just can't get put back to that spawn trap again. That just can't happen.
Well, with a little bit of a spree there from False Logic at the end. Sit 10 and 10. A couple of good kills there from Bean and Vivix, but Zane on the hunt now. Finds his way into that A-bomb site. Vivix with some forward pressure here. Gonna get hunted down by Sype and cleaned up, so now Texas Tech working out those spawns, Hush and a little bit of pressure. Zane's going to clean that up. False Logic, it's his turn to get into the mix, but not able to follow up on any of those kills. So into the A zone we go, and False Logic picks up a 2-piece.
Yeah, nice 2-piece there, too, because it gets all the players off of the A zone. You do still have forward progression, though, from 2 of the Texas Tech players. A nice stun from Logic as well. Finds another in the back. And now False Logic can push their way forward. 1 player will hop onto B. False Logic doing everything right now for SWOSU to keep them in this game.
14 and 11. Good showing. What? False Logic needs help. The A zone is Primal. I don't think they got the tick secured at A. No, they're not that. Sype will get the progress cemented. So first tick locked in. Second tick getting worked on. Sype's going to go up top. And looking for the kills just to keep them pressured away. Sype on the hunt. Hush gonna look over into this A zone. Even hop in for the contest. Here comes the rest of the cavalry. Gonna collapse onto those SWOSU players in the A zone. It is done.
Yeah, that is absolutely done. Unfortunately, one of the players on SWOSU is going to spawn out deep back left as well. But the teammates, Vivix, Hush, and Bean, will all pick up kills through middle of the map. That should at least give you an opportunity to come off spawn, push their way through middle of the map now, and get to a spot where you can play defense still and help out your team on this point.
It's Primal working on the flank. Find the opening there with Vivix, a big ticket kill into that. False Logic going down to two of the top Slayers. Not going to be alive to shut this one down. And Hush B, they get picked off. So back into the spawn trap we go, Jesse. Nobody hopping onto this B zone just yet. It looks like Texas Tech want to play a little bit of TDM.
On TDM, they will. They drop 3 in a row. Zane taking shots through the fence line. Wolf end up falling, but yeah, it's exactly what they're doing. They want to put this one away with the kills here. They're just going to keep trying to pick the SWOSU players off spawn as they come off. And this is, at what point does this just become bullying?
I mean, Texas Tech, I will say, and I'm only going to say this once, you are the better team in this matchup. It has been apparent since the hard point, but things like that, I mean, it's not what you want to see at a competitive level. I mean, it's just poor sportsmanship. 30 seconds, 10 lives to 7. SWOSU Bulldogs just looking to hold on for a round here in the control with the last remaining 25 seconds. Hush gonna be over towards B to see if he can pick off a couple of these kills at the respawn. Actually neutralizing that B zone a little bit. And a couple kills looking to bite Texas Tech in the back now as SWOSU climb back into this. You gotta think what could have been in this round if you're Texas Tech, and you deserve this.
Yeah, they can't pull it off. And again, SWOSU just take advantage of some over-aggression and some not nice play from the Texas Tech players. And I mean, SWOSU will keep taking those rounds every day of the week, right? And if it keeps you inside the map, it keeps you inside the map. It also, at this point, though, keeping you inside the series, being able to take advantage of that. And we'll see if Texas Tech tries to actually win the series on this next round.
Switching sides back over. Texas Tech going to be on the defense. SWOSU, can they get an offensive round? Hush actually came alive there towards the end, playing forward towards that B zone, and was impressed with what we got out of their AR. False Logic 18 and 14 still continuing to press on for this team. Sub in hand on the flank. Nice timing on the Primal. Almost snaps the second, but looks like Sipe escapes for a second right into the hands of Vivix. Still working this flank here as False Logic into the A zone. Stops the clock. Here comes the remainder of the players. Lock to be the first one cut down. Hush all alone here in the corner. It seems like the Reed's going to be there. And yeah, Zane's going to shot him down, and False Logic falls as well.
But unfortunately, it's just going to leave Bean here. Bean finds at least one, but yeah, now this is where it can get scary again. Everybody on SWOSU spawning up towards green, and you can see just completely surrounded by Texas Tech players at the moment, continuing to slay out here. But SWOSU, they'll get the southern spawn towards A. Everybody can hop over towards it again here. Now, let's not forget, SWOSU did get that A zone in the first round, but had 0 chance of going over towards B. There's not a very good, strong round out of them. And this time through, it's looking like it could be much of the same. They continue to spawn southern and continue to try to hit over towards A. And actually, they do get a player onto B as well. Hush looking to maybe try to get this tick all by themselves at B.
Vivix gonna break. 1 versus 1 here from the top ropes. Nice shots from Vivix. Zane gonna be shut down. The second tick being worked on here towards the A zone. Only a 2 life advantage, and that's being dwindled. So Texas Tech, they got to be careful of what they do next, because SWOSU, it looks like they're starting to come alive.
It does. Hush, again, like you said, playing much better in this game. 16 and 19 than what we've seen throughout this entire series from them so far here. And you do get a kill in the back. Unfortunately, Hush falls on the offensive line, so really you've only got Vivix pushed forward. And Vivix, I think at this point you just need to play your life. We'll try to wait to pick these players as they come off spawn. Maybe wait for your teammates to push forward a little bit here. It's False Logic that needs to lead the way and really do a lot of this heavy slaying here for SWOSU. Unfortunately, they'll all end up falling, and at some point, Vivix, you're going to have to get aggressive and actually try to make a play here in the back line.
And Locke's just going to be big chillin' top bar, picking off these players as they cross through the soccer field. Vivix will have to be the one to break this open, but instead it's False Logic to piece together a couple kills. Locke going to the deep end, only going 1 for 1. False Logic gonna fall. Primal pieces together another 2. Back into the spawn trap they go, and Vivix has yet to make a presence.
They've just been over here the entire round, not doing it. I'm not sure if they haven't found a timing to be able to find a kill, but they're just trying to stay alive, and unfortunately their life equals to absolutely nothing in the back line there. Only 4 lives left for the SWOSU players. False Logic, though, in the back line now will get 1 at least, but with 4 lives left, it's going to take a monumental effort to finish this zone off.
I have seen crazier things happen, Jesse. 9-4, locked to call in the cruise missile. I could have let this one slip through their fingertips just yet. Sipe going to make sure that cruise missile doesn't have to do any dirty work at all. And Locke going to let Zay know that he is frustrated. As cruise missile didn't get any action. One player left. It's false logic. Snaps towards the second player, but not able to clean it up. 5 seconds to clutch a 1 versus 7. Texas Tech Esports looking to go to playoffs, and they're going to get it done. 3-1 in the control, 3-0 in the series. The Mass Raiders move on.
They do. They absolutely do. Now, I don't think they're going to be able to get away with a lot of the stuff they were doing in this series against a lot of top teams once they hit those top teams here. But yeah, Texas Tech still showing, hey, you know what? We're a good team here. We can definitely hang with the best of them. I will say for SWOSU, I mean, obviously we can see where the struggles come in from. But some positives to take away from this, at least if you're SWOSU, is False Logic looks very, very good. I mean, played very well, was able to go toe-to-toe with Texas Tech through all 3 of those maps. And I mean, I can't remember where we saw False Logic, if he was where he was in terms of his years at SWOSU. But I mean, if you can find a way to build around this player in your program, I think that it's a very good stepping stone to start. You know what I mean, Colin?
Yeah, and not even that. I will say, you know, we didn't get the most consistent showing out of the team over on SWOSU Bulldogs, but towards the end of that control, even Hush was starting to pick things up. So, you know, maybe not the start that you were hoping for, but towards the end, we started seeing them, you know, piece things together and starting to fall into place. And they were making it competitive in that last round for sure. You know, Texas Tech got a little bit worrisome towards that. And, you know, the round that they were playing a little bit TDM, Jesse, they got a little bit silly, gave up the potential 3-0 in that control. I hope they keep that same energy against the Div 2 teams.
I mean, I think it comes down to them just knowing they had this one in the bag, right? Like, and I guess at the end of the day, they're trying to just have some fun with it. Not the most sportsman thing to do, like we've been hitting on, and if they do that against a D2 team, I'm sure that they will get punished, right? But at the end of the day, they got the job done. They walked away with the victory. We got to give them their flowers where they're due, and they do look very good when they're actually playing at their full strength. They do look really, really good, and I definitely could see them actually making a run. But like you said, you're not going to be able to keep that same energy when you're going up against D2 and D1 schools. That's when things are going to get a lot tougher for this Texas Tech team.
And fundamentally, I will say Texas Tech is a team that could be a dark horse even going into this postseason. Locke was putting up fantastic numbers throughout the hard point. It's control as well. He dropped 35 kills, so you know that he can hang when it comes down to the slang. And for the rest of the team, I mean, Primal, strong submachine gun. They have the making for a postseason run when you look at it. Sipe, even in that hard point, you remember he was going toe-to-toe with Locke when it comes to top Slayer in the lobby. And, you know, supporting that, you have a strong player in Zane who just gets the objective done. He was the sniper player in the Search and Destroy, so didn't have to do too much. At one point in this control, he was only 2-2, I think, going into round number 3. So,
yeah.
I mean, Zane just coasts. He just has to big chill and get the objective. Yeah,
Zane, very capable player themselves. I think we saw that in the Search and Destroy at times as well when they were kind of just flying out and they got that 1v4, or not the 1v4, but they did get the ace in one of the rounds in the S&D. Zane, a very good player, but like you said, not having to do too much on this Texas Tech roster. Hopefully they kind of walk away from this one knowing, hey, you know what, we were the better team here today, but we need to kind of buckle it in a little bit when we go up against some of these other teams. Otherwise, they will run into some trouble against D2, D1's tools. But nonetheless, they qualify for playoffs, right? And they get the job done. Now, they got to buckle it down. They're going to be going up against some really, really tough schools. I think it'll be fun to see what this Texas Tech team can do come playoff time.
Well, here we go with the best of 5. You only need 3 maps for Texas Tech to move into the playoffs. Embassy 250 to 151, Mercado 6-5, all the way to round 11, and an LSC low control. A 3-1 victory to get the job done on the night. Texas Tech, another team to qualify for playoffs here in College. God, it's going to be an exciting one, Jesse. I mean, from what we've got, we've seen some pretty strong teams, and I think one thing that I was looking for in teams, you know, being confident, being strong, and, you know, showcasing how dominant they can actually be, I think Texas Tech has been the team to show me that.
I agree. Maybe a little overconfident at times, I will say. But, yeah, they've definitely looked confident here today. A 3-0 victory. Like you said, very dominant victory as well over SWOSU. That map 1, very, very strong. I still stand by what I said. That looked like some really, really good hard point being played by Texas Tech. That search and destroy, we can just kind of forget about it. It is what it is, but they still came away with the victory. And then that map 3 again, when it came to the respawns, they look dominant inside the respawns right now. They'll be a tough team to handle in the playoffs.
Well, as we get set up for a third match, I want to give a big shout out to our presenting sponsor, America's Navy. The Navy offers more than 60 career fields in leading edge areas such as nuclear engineering, special warfare, cryptology, information systems, and healthcare. And there are also enlisted career paths in fields that are not widely associated with the Navy, including music, journalism, culinary arts, marketing, law enforcement, and even Esports over with Goats and Glory. So if any of that interests you and you want to take a look at America's Navy, check them out at Navy.com and show some love to our sponsor, because this is going to be possible without them, folks. So get set up for our match number 3. We'll see you on the other side with the last match of the night here for CCL LCQ.